thought we should address this. Acting like the
I've
young
been
and
admonished for not
restless.
paying attention.
I'm obsessed with this. All his candy necklaces.
I wrote to Larry about theology, and I said that I saw a theologian, a discussion between some theologians. I've got to look it up. And I somehow felt like I understood what they were talking about. But it was like politics. Is there really that much structure in the church? And I thought they were so much better at thinking that they could be way better at mathematics. But I don't know why I have the block with talking about connecting the mind with man. I am a loony, aren't I? I love both of them. You sure this isn't Hollywood that's done this to us? Is Hollywood the face, the Instagram poison of the ruling class? I wrote when I was in Bolivia that Larry Paulson taught me how to think. There are very interesting things about David Grant dying in the Rockies. He's who taught Elizabeth to play the guitar. That's what that guitar hanging on above her bed is. And I think that's his guitar. But is she dead? I mean, is it any concern of mine? Is the Grants thing a different tribe, a different branch? Are we being tribal, and is that the problem? I got a YouTube premiere, Rumble premiere coming at 11:59 tonight, and it's only 15 seconds. It's Chinese male sexual health lecture, and maybe that'll help. And I'm going to meditate for a bit now because I'm starting to, I'm feeling like that. This isn't the kind of quality that I was after. I was after something. I can't put it all into words. It's visual. But it involves very well maintained vehicles, extremely efficient logistics, people with focus and a particular goal, and who come together with that particular goal, not a madhouse of 10 million people parking their cars around the place and creating a happening. It's not so unreasonable, and I can imagine it working. I've never experienced it except in my own mind and occasional flashes. And where it leads, I can't tell you, but I remember once sitting, my desk was pretty much where it is now in the room in Guanai. This is pretty close, except the bed, which has now got the other half in it. The bed was the other way on the wall here, and it had a mosquito net, and it was a biggish bed. It was a Clase Media. And here I had an old, it was antique desk, writing desk. and my wooden chair that a guy in Guanai made for me was made to measure. And on the floor here, there was some drinks cans, some packets, coca leaves all over the place. Here, the dresser was in the middle of the room, which was kind of weird. Between the dresser and the bed, the dresser was kind of there, and there was the llama fetus on there in the bowl, and various other bits and pieces that I'd found, and there were these little mold creatures. The mold seems to join into a little pod, and they seem to move around. Blue-green pod that moves around. And on the floor, after pulling a tune, I think it may have been 2 consecutive nights without sleep, just writing. I saw a lotus made of gold dust, and it moved. It was totally responsive. It was very clearly a plant, but it was made of moving gold dust of all different sizes, and the movement of the dust was in currents, and it was a multifoil. It was far more beautiful than anything you see at the end of the Matrix. But as well, there was a being, a man. I felt it was a man. I guess my height, and I could see every vein in his body and the nerves. There were different types of current flowing through, but there was an archetypal being realized in dust, and I have no doubt for 1 second of the existence of that. But the lotus, the being came behind me, and then I got into my. I didn't worry too much. I just thought, oh, I hope he doesn't mind that my room's so messy. And I studied the lotus to see whether the lotus was real or not, because of the way it was moving, and it was in different places. It wasn't straight. The man walked. I've never analysed this before. I've never properly explained it to anyone, except I did mention it to Laura Pausini so somebody's got it out there. I haven't got access to that. Well, I have. Marcus told me where it was, but I've been in such a chaos state of mind that I've not been able to get this together. I decided to experiment on the lotus and see whether it was real. I tried moving when I moved, and it seemed to kind of follow me and look like this, because it wasn't just sitting down on the ground. It was. I'm not sure. It didn't seem to have a structure. It was like a rootless plant. That's how you could describe it. A rootless plant. And it moved around, and I tried different angles and things on it like this, and it didn't withstand inspection. There wasn't a way I could show myself. I could see that it was in 3-dimensional space. I think it was Euclid that was behind me. I think I got enough of Euclid to. He showed up. A, B, C, D, E. It's Plato. It's Aristotle, Plato. Sorry. Well, who knows? You know, you can give birth to your father or your grandfather. It was Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Diophantus, and Euclid. Those are the 5 beds. 5 beds for 1 house. This was the exchange rate in those days. And that was more like a contract. You keep the science together. Otherwise, you're going to have to build a new one, and you're going to have to make yourself a new house. And that's where we are. So that was the project. And now we need to find the focus to do it. But it's got to be done. We've got to keep this house. This is the Imperial War Museum of the future. So let's make it nice. We don't just want to load it with a lot of. Have a look at the Barcadia, Rachel Kamina's project in Norwich. And I thought we could do this, and I even talked to a guy, the Jehovah's Witnesses, in Cochabamba. I also talked to the Church of Jesus Christ in the Latter-day Saints, and we seem to be diverted. But maybe we weren't. Maybe I was left out for a reason, to collect more structure. Maybe they had that in hand. I don't know. But I don't have me in hand. I feel like she wants me, but I feel like I don't know. Right now, I'm starting to feel like a spare part again. I don't mind. If I'm a spare part, then I want some autonomy. But then I feel like there's a massive fishing trip on for me, and then I start either getting angry or just withdrawing. So that's where I am right now. I'm going to go for a walk though. Close the windows and take a walk. That's probably how the audio in here is incredible with the windows open.